rather snappy, won't you? I have some very heavy thinking to do before 10 o'clock.
And we got we got
wrong
us.
there.
There we go. Good
Hey,
morning, everybody. We're having
we'll try it out here.
some last minute scrambling. Yeah, because Facebook's giving me a hard time. So you're gonna see. Of course, you can't see it on Facebook right now because I put the link out there. Anyway, we'll share it. Make sure everybody knows. Anyway, good morning.
You're at the very
Yeah.
bottom
No,
there.
I know because
Yeah.
it's thrown me off a little bit. All that. But anyway, good morning. This is Get It Right Texoma. With the trio, we got Trey, we got Terry, and Mike. And,
that's the trio.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's the trio. Come on,
Yeah.
dude.
I know I'm thrown off a little bit, but anyway, that's my excuse.
He's thrown off. I've heard you're thrown off a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But then we've got Steve Garner, who's our fill-in, our host, our the sixth man, if you would.
Yes.
You know, he's the 12th man, the sixth
it.
man. You know.
I'll take it. I'll
Yeah.
take it.
So, but anyway, we're here, and
By the way, cool graphics.
yeah, we got
if
on
you-
the
if
new.
you-
Yeah, if you got to see it on the pre-roll there, we had a new thing I added
And a little
last
bit
night.
of music going
A
there.
little bit of music
yeah.
and the whole bit. So anyway, share this if you're getting this on YouTube. That's where you're at. But we're gonna share it again anyway because we're gonna be just putting a link out on Facebook. And I'll be
So
working
did
on
you
that.
do something wrong with Facebook? Or
No,
did you get in
no,
trouble?
I went no. Yeah, well, no, we didn't.
Do Steve and I need to
Facebook jail.
hide? Look, I'm saying if the Facebook's cops come in, dude, I'm gonna
I-
rat you out.
No, I'm not in Facebook jail as far as I know. But no, I went last night. I was working on it last night, and Facebook said, "Hey, you need to sign back in on the software." And I'm like, "Okay." So I did. I thought I did, but apparently, this thing's giving me a hell of a time. So we'll see.
Yeah. What's going to happen? The problem, what he doesn't want to say is he's about to blow a call into Zuckerberg directly.
That's
and
it.
Say we're going to get this on. You know,
Yeah.
He's got him on speed dial.
That's it. So anyway,
So we go live every Friday morning at
That's
7:30.
Yep.
And of course, this morning Steve Garner's with us. We have guests. Most mornings we have guests. Every once in a while,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
just
not a
us
guest
chickens.
this morning.
No, you're not a guest. You're a co-host, and but we try to entertain and inform. And Terry, I'll go ahead and do your part. since you're
Yes,
sitting
yeah.
here. Try to entertain and inform everybody and let you know what's going on in Texoma, but also these long form interviews. There is not a place that you could get the long form interview that we have here. We don't have commercial breaks. We don't have to stop for the top of the hour, or bottom of the hour, or any of that sort of stuff. We blow right through, and a lot of times our interviews will be, I think our shortest interviews are in like the 20 to 25 minutes, up to dang near an hour.
Yeah.
I think the mayor's gone, 52, 53 minutes with us several times. So we appreciate you joining with us. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe. The biggest thing is subscribing, because that way you get the notification. And it's one of those deals. If you don't want to just hear bozos talk, that's fine, but you might find an interesting guest. You might say, "Oh, Steve Garner's on there. I'm going to listen." I don't like the other two idiots, but he's funny or interesting to listen to. So whatever it is, but I do recommend subscribing. That way you can at least see what's going on. I do that with the Social Space, the show that Steve's on occasionally, kind of fill-in guest there, or fill-in host. I don't watch every minute of every show. Sometimes I go, A lot of times I do like to watch the City Space part of it at the end. But if it's a guest I'm interested in, I'll watch it. If it's a guest that I'm not really that interested in, I don't watch that part. I fast forward through it.
Yeah.
But at least you know what's going on.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've enjoyed about being connected with Hager Communications and being involved in the Social Space. I've had seen it over the years on occasion, and now that I'm involved in it and get to be there every week for the different people that come in to be on the show, on the broadcast. It's broadcast Sunday nights at 10:30 on KAUZ, but it's also dropped on social media on Fridays, and so that's where I would watch it, was on social media. Yeah. But the guests that they have on there, it's really fascinating, the things that are going on in the community, to talk to these people that have got such great, wonderful businesses or great, wonderful events coming to town, and I've just thoroughly enjoyed it.
And we share a lot of the same guests.
Yes,
there's times I've seen somebody on the social space and then they're like, oh, they're going to be on with us, or they've been on with us, and about 2 or 3 weeks later, they're on with him. Yeah. See, and that's funny. You do it like you said. You watch it social media. I don't. Yeah. I actually record it on my YouTube TV, and I watch it on TV.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm a TV guy. I'm still a TV watcher rather than I don't want to look at on my. I hate doing stuff on my phone. Yeah, I'd like to sit down at a desktop if I'm going to use a computer, and I'm like an 85-year-old man when it comes to technology. And if I'm going to watch something entertainment, I'd rather watch it on TV.
But we've pulled you into a little bit of AI stuff. You've been making use of ChatGPT a handful, right? A little bit.
Yeah, pretty.
Hey,
I still think the stuff I write is better than ChatGPT.
Sure.
But I do use ChatGPT to kind of clarify or get more information.
Sure.
That's what I found out is that instead of going and Google searching this, Google searching this, Google searching this, and Google searching this, that you can, or searching these, you could go to ChatGPT and it brings in a lot of information at once. So that's where I found it useful.
All right. So
anyhow,
we go live every Friday morning, 7:30, and we try to get all these guests and everything, and I'm trying to get.
We've already gone over that part.
I know,
you had your
but
head in the, you had your head in the
I got to get caught up on here. But anyway. We're
I've got to subscribe. Yeah.
But you didn't say let's get into it.
No,
this is
that's your line. That's right. I don't want to step on that line.
All right.
So the local restaurant focus is the Catch. Yeah. I drive by it every time I'm on the way to the studio over here. Drive right past it. It's right here on Kemp Street, where the Burger King was for
forever,
many years, and it's almost on the corner of Kemp and Caulfield. It's not quite on the corner, but it's almost on the corner there. Seafood. I'm not a seafood guy.
What?
I'm not. I've never eaten there, but I know a lot of people who have eaten there. I've got a lot of friends that have eaten there and really enjoy it. So have you eaten there?
I did a long time ago.
Have.
I have. I've eaten there several times.
So take it away. Tell us a little bit about it. You've got to pull it up right here.
Yeah, I've got it right here.
I haven't been for their 4th of July menu, but what I like about going in there is the variety that they have. If you want something spicy, they've got it. If you want something with variety, they've got it. If you want to go in and just get fish, they got it. If you want to go in and just get crawdads, they got it. It's just a great selection and a great variety of food, and the prices are very reasonable.
Yeah.
Because seafood's not a cheap meal.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not. But going in there and going up to the counter, and I've been there probably 5 or 6 times since it opened. And I'm not a big restaurant. My wife and I both cook, and so that's usually our dinners. But I like going in there because every once in a while I just got to have some fried fish. You just do. And going in there, the variety that they have, they had alligator in there the last time I went. It was really.
But do they have your traditional fish and chips like your North Atlantic cod? I kind of figured so.
Yeah, if you want to go in and just get fish and fries, they got that too.
Okay. And right here, their menu, it shows a little bit. There's a crawdad boil. Looks like they've got that going on.
Right.
And then we always want to tell about the hours.
Yep, they're open, looks like every day.
For lunch and dinner.
Yeah, lunch and dinner, 11 to 9.
Yeah, you don't really want breakfast. Yeah, seafood's not really much of a breakfast thing,
11 to 10 on Friday and Saturday.
I don't want a catfish burrito.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Maybe that's a new business opportunity. A gap in the market. You know how it is, Steve. You got to find a gap in the market. Catfish burritos.
I think I'm out.
Yeah. And then as you talked about, you said this 4th of July dining.
The crawdad boil.
Okay, they got a thing.
But you look, they've got.
Yeah, see, look at all that.
Yeah.
Bold flavors. That's what I like.
Yeah. Bold flavors. Yeah. And then if you scroll down, there's some more pictures of other stuff. We're there. If you go down there, there you go.
See, look at that. Look at that picture right there.
All of their menu stuff. They're family. Oh, they've got dinner packages. So there's a lot going on there. Go check them out. The Catch, they're locally owned and operated, which we always want to promote. They're right here. They've been there for, I want to say about 3 or 4 years now. 2 or 3. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
It wasn't just recent.
Yeah. And for those, apparently are they still doing the free, like the little margarita stuff or what?
I don't know.
They did. That was, they didn't have their license yet, so they were giving away beer and the little thing for
They probably, I don't know. I'd call ahead of time. Don't really expect
I was going
that.
to say, I'm not going to comment on that.
No, they
don't
do.
know.
They have they were, well, anyway.
I know they might have been, but what I'm saying is I don't want people to go in there going, Terry said I get free beer.
Yeah, no, I don't think they're giving away the beer now, but I think it was the margarita thing. But anyway, all right.
Go check them out. The Catch.
Yes.
All right. Happenings, of course, the Hotter Than Hell 100.
Can we talk about that? Can we talk about the Hotter Than Hell 100?
Yeah, we can
Well,
talk about
45th
is there anything
anniversary.
going on about the Hotter Than Hell?
45th anniversary of the Hotter Than Hell 100. And that is just amazing. For sporting events across the country, normally a sporting event has got a 25 to 30-year lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We're at our 45th anniversary for the Hotter Than Hell. And that is a direct tribute to the people in this community, how they've embraced this event, and the volunteer army of people from Wichita Falls, from Shepherd Air Force Base, from Iowa Park, from Henrietta, Burke Burnett, City View, all these people that come in and give their time, money, and effort for this is why it's been voted the best ride in America 2 of the last 3 years.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. That's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And so
2 days.
getting ready, we just kind of want to put the bug in everybody's ear. We had a long form conversation with Chip Filer, the executive director of Hotter Than Hell 100, last week. So if you're interested in knowing kind of a long all about the Hotter Than Hell, check that out in the archives. But we just want to put it in everybody's ear. We want to be sure that you're kind of planning on this. Because, by the way, if you want to ride, you don't just start thinking about this a week ahead of time. You need to get your butt out there and get in the heat right now.
Yeah, you know what? One of the things I want to make sure I tell our viewers, listeners, the Hotter Than Hell 100 is the name of the ride. But you can ride 25 miles.
Right.
You can ride 10 miles. You can ride 50 miles. You can ride 75 kilometers. I mean, you can pick the distance that you want. You don't have to get overwhelmed with 100 miles. You got plenty of time. Get your bike out. Get the tires aired up. Make sure the chain's got grease on it.
Lubricate the chain.
Make sure it's got chain. Make sure it works. Drive it around the neighborhood, and then start riding.
By the way, pro tip on lubricating chain. There's so many people don't know how to lubricate the chain properly. You spray on the inside of the chain. You don't spray on the back. A lot of people want to stand on the back and spray on the back. What you do is when you do that, you sling the grease right off the back. You spray on the inside of the chain, like as the chain goes on the inside there, you spray down there, and then when it slings, because all the grease slings, it's going to sling back on the chain.
Yep.
So, pro tip.
There you go. All right.
Whether you're riding a motorcycle or bicycle.
Just to let you know, they have another ride that's sort of an off-road one.
They have a whole
the gravel. They got all kinds of
so
stuff.
that one runs right by my house.
They have a race downtown.
Oh, dude, this year we've gone back to Friday night criteriums. We're gonna have pros. We're gonna have men's, women's. It's gonna be exciting.
That's pretty exciting because it's like tight racing.
Yeah, and it's right there. And
it's right downtown. It's right. It's a closed course,
yeah.
and they'll have the barriers on the streets. You can go up and enjoy for probably 3 or 4 hours, and they're gonna have a bunch of races. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
Yep. All right. So go check it out. Hotter Than Hell 100. Just keep it on your calendar.
Okay.
Also coming up, the Wichita Falls Symphony Orchestra free jazz event.
I love jazz.
Jazz-infused Americana, the Stars and Swing concert, brings a symphony's trio of jazz, inviting the patio of Collective Coffee on Friday, July 3rd. That's today.
Yep, I've got that.
No, next week.
No, that's
next week. Next week.
July 3rd. Yes.
Next Friday. So make your plans.
And notice where that's going to be held.
Yeah.
Collective Coffee.
Collective Coffee, corner Midwestern Parkway and Taft. Yeah. I tell you what, they celebrated their fifth year anniversary this year at Collective Coffee. What a great gathering place. It's just turned into one of my favorite places to go.
It's on the corner of Midwestern Parkway and Taft.
Yeah, it was an old gas station.
Yeah, it was a gas station.
Okay. There's like a bank building and it's across the street.
Caddy corner
it's
from
corner
MSU.
from D.L. Ligon Coliseum.
Okay, yeah. Absolutely. So if you like jazz, if you're into jazz, they're
next Friday night.
Yep, next Friday night have something to do.
Go.
Yep. Also, the 4th in the Falls Freedom Fest is our annual Independence Day celebration. At one time, or for many years, the city would partner with the Air Force Base, and they would do alternation.
Yeah.
They would alternate, put on the base and here. Then they realized, that's really logistically it's hard to do that. To get on the base, with a lot of security and stuff like that. So Shepherd Air Force Base said, you know what, we'll come to you. And so Shepherd Air Force Base participates. They're a huge participant in this, but they do it right down at Independence Park, which most people didn't know that's the name of it. It's a little piece of land there between the MPEC and the Coliseum and the MPEC itself. And that's where it's going to happen. Let me tell you, last year, I believe it was the best fireworks that I've ever witnessed in person. Now, you've seen them on TV over New York Harbor and stuff like that. But as far as a fireworks display in this area, I've never seen a better fireworks display. Because usually, I'm one of those people, I mean, I've seen many fireworks displays. It's fun for, 10 or 15 minutes, but now it's like, okay, it's colors and pops, and that's cool. But this was exciting for the whole thing.
Okay, I want to add something.
Steve.
This year, for the first time, not only are we going to have an incredible fireworks display, like you said, but this year there's going to be America 250 drone show. And for our audience, this is something we have not seen here. This is going to be a multi-hundred drone show.
It's amazing to watch.
It's going to be incredible. Yeah. So get out there this year and enjoy the great fireworks display, but something totally new.
Yeah, and if you've never seen one of those drone shows, it's amazing. Gosh. It's amazing what they do. But it's a celebration from 5 to 10:30. They're going to have a battle of the bands. They're going to have a set of country by All Hat No Cadillac, which is kind of a pretty big local band. They're going to have a car show, a kids zone. They're going to have vendors, food trucks, a beer tent, military flyover, and a massive fireworks display, and the drone show. So be sure that you it's a free event to get into, but if you want to buy food and drinks, that you're not giving that away.
Nope.
Take some cashola with you, or some money, your debit card or whatever the heck it is. I believe you can take in one unopened bottle of water per person. Mm-hmm. So but don't be an ass. Don't show up there and try to game the system. Seriously. I mean, if you don't have an extra $5 to go, don't go. Don't just. You ruin it for everybody when there's got to be something called your dignity, and your dignity ought to be worth something. If the rule is one unopened bottle of water per person, take one open.
Take one.
Yeah.
Take one.
Don't make a big fuss about it.
Yeah.
So go check it out. And then the Wichita Falls Spudders, which I've heard of them, but I haven't followed that. I'm not a baseball guy, but I am a sports guy, and I like anything in Wichita Falls.
Cowboy Collegiate League.
There's a Cowboy Collegiate League. So we have a baseball team here. Mm-hmm. It's a college baseball team, and it's kind of like an all-star team from colleges, players from all over the country. And basically they're playing summer league baseball to try to stay in shape. And I think most of them are probably looking to move up to the next level. And they'll start at a smaller – it's very common. Like Cisco College is a huge baseball college, because there's a lot of really good players that they're not going to go to that top-level school right off the bat, but they'll go to Cisco for a year or two, and then they'll get noticed, or something like this. Mm-hmm. They'll get noticed, and then they get moved up. We have a history of this, of hockey in our town.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for many, many years, we had a lot
development league.
Development league of hockey, and that's basically what this is. They play out there at Hoskins Field, and so go check them out. And they have like a military night and a whatever night. They have all these nights, so go on their website. It's pretty interesting, but it's kind of cool if you're into baseball or just want to go see. And these are going to be good players. Mm-hmm. By the way, these aren't scrubs. These are people that are a lot of them are trying to make a living. They're or trying to get college scholarships. They're trying to move up. It's going to be good players out there playing, and right now they're not doing so hot in the standings. I think they're last in their group right now, but they play 4 teams: the Weatherford Cutters, the Tyler Knockouts, the Waco Woolly Wranglers, which has got to be my favorite name for a baseball, and then the Wichita Falls Spudders.
Yeah, well, that's in the Northern League, and division, and then in the Southern Division. So I guess there's, I guess there's some sort of crossover here.
Well, I don't know. I don't know that they play each other or not. They may not play each other. I just don't know.
Maybe
But
it's
anyhow,
playoffs. Yeah.
If you want to know more information, go on that. Yeah. By the way, when you're calling Waco North, That's
Yeah,
a pretty
I know.
big.
No,
That's
I
a
know.
pretty big part
Well,
of Texas.
I mean, it's all Baytown. It's all. I guess it is just all Texas. Then.
A lot of that other stuff's right there on the coast. By the way, the reason it's called the Waco Woolly Wranglers is because there is a woolly mammoth display in Waco. If you've never,
I didn't know that.
oh my goodness, it is phenomenal. If you've never seen something like this, there's a place where it was an ancient river in Waco, and probably a flood happened. Nobody knows exactly what happened, but there's a whole bunch of woolly mammoths that died right there, and they uncovered them. And it's pretty phenomenal to go someplace and see something that actually roamed this part of the world, or even the earth that doesn't exist anymore. But this part of the world, and you realize the animals, the size of the animals that at one time roamed North America. Because right now, I guess the moose is probably the largest animal that we have in North America. But you don't see them down here or anything like that. There was some massive critters in this part of the world, saber-toothed tigers and that sort of thing. So go check them out.
Check them out.
All right. Speaking of 4th of July, freedom and all that, if anybody, I know I'm maybe one of the only ones that are here that is into MMA and watched the UFC at White House fight, but you did watch it? I didn't know you were into MMA.
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I can't watch it.
Oh, I love it.
It's to me, it's just too violent.
Oh, it's sport.
I know it's sport.
Yeah.
I appreciate sport, but I just have made the choice. I don't want to watch a guy get his ear beat up.
I
don't want to that's my choice. Yeah. But this was America 250. It was on the White House lawn.
Yep.
And my wife, who she said, Steve, let's watch it. I'm watching it. Let's watch it. I said, okay, so we did.
She threatened to put him in a triangle choke if you don't know MMA. I'm just kidding.
But what I enjoyed about it was the spectacle.
Yeah.
It was one of the most
choreographed,
designed
spaces. Their production.
Thank you. That's the word I was looking for. The production of that entire evening, the way they had the fighters in the White House, walking out of the White House with a Medal of Honor winner on one side and a first responder on the other side through their White House.
Yeah. Justin Gaethje was literally in who actually upset Ilia Topuria and won the
best fight of the night.
Oh yeah, won the championship against. I mean, he was a 6-1 dog, but he was standing literally in the Oval Office looking at the Declaration of Independence before he walked out.
Yeah.
But specifically, what I was going to talk about was the flyover.
Yeah.
I've never seen that flyover, and they have a name for it, so obviously they've done it before. But it's called the Delta Formation, Super Delta Formation. It's where the Blue Angels and the Thunderbirds fly together. So the Navy and the Air Force come together for this. And if you've not seen it, you don't have to watch fights. I don't care. Log in and watch this flyover. It is phenomenal. Because if you've ever seen the Thunderbirds, they're phenomenal. The Blue Angels are phenomenal. Mm-hmm. They stick them together, and they actually have a name for it. It's called the Super Delta Formation, and it is one of the craziest thing. So I'm glad you got exposed to MMA.
Well, I've been exposed to it. I just my son watches it. My wife watches it on occasion. I love boxing, but MMA is so different.
But MMA is actually safer than boxing.
I
know. I get it. It's a choice, and I respect your choice. But it really is. Boxing, you have a lot more head injuries because you get pummeled over and over and over again. Whereas with those small gloves, MMA, a lot of times when you get hit, it knocks you out. Or see, one of the safest things that people don't realize is when you choke somebody out, it's actually very safe as long as you know what you're doing. Yeah. As long as you're not crushing the windpipe. If you're getting right here and here, and you're just taking off the blood flow of the carotid artery, they go to sleep. You let go of them, and they're fine.
Okay, well here we got. There we go. That's a beautiful photo
graphic.
of it.
That's a Super Delta Formation.
What a beautiful graphic.
And sometimes they'll have it. I believe they may reverse it because I know they said at this time the Navy was in command of this one, but they said next time they do it, the Air Force will be command. So they may have it separately.
Go back to that formation, Terry. Go back to that formation right there. I want you to look carefully at that formation. Look at the precision placement of each aircraft flying at 400 to 600 knots.
Yep.
They're less than 12 feet apart.
Yep.
Yeah.
Going fast, and that's why even though they practice this over and over and over, there have been accidents both
sure.
on the Blue Angels and on the Air Force.
I can
Thunderbird
remember the
side,
one in
yeah.
the 90s,
Mm-hmm.
and where the entire
But left except for one, the last guy pulled out.
guy pulled out. But because it's so tight, I remember that.
And they're trusting. They have to.
Well, that's the thing. They're not watching. They're watching the person.
It's
in front of
relative.
them.
They're
Yes.
relative to
Yeah.
the person
And
next
that
to
was-
them and for. Yeah.
It's devastating.
It was awful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there is a documentary, by the way. It's probably about 2 or 3 years old. It's out there, and I recommend watching it. It's about an hour, probably an hour, 15 minutes long, and it's about the Thunderbirds. And it talks in depth about how they're selected and blah, blah, blah. And then it follows them in a season about all the practice they do. It is phenomenal.
Okay, Netflix has one on the Blue Angels, has one on the Thunderbirds. I've watched them both. Absolutely, and you're right, hour and 10 minutes. But it goes through the lives of these pilots, their families, their background, the limited tour that they have as a pilot for either the Blue Angels or the Thunderbirds. I mean, they don't do this for 20 years. No. They've got limited time there.
Yeah.
And then if they're good, they become one of the instructors. But it's just really, really fascinating.
And you talk about the best of the best. If you remember on the I didn't see the Blue Angels, but I did see the Thunderbirds. One of the people that they followed was about to be an astronaut, and then he got the call to be a Thunderbird. Remember?
Yes.
So you're not selected to be an astronaut if you're a scrub.
Yeah.
You're like the best of the best of the best. And he literally had been selected to be an astronaut, and then he was selected to be a Thunderbird, and he had to make a choice. So this guy's got to be like one of the greatest, pilots that's walking the earth right now.
Yeah.
So check it out if you ever get a chance. And I've heard they're going to do it more. I don't know at what celebration, but part of this 250 celebration, I've heard they're going to do this Super Delta formation several places.
Yeah. And by the way, I wanted to point out something, how much criticism there was over this spectacle as they had, it was such a big deal. But what I saw a clip the other day on, I think it was on Ben Shapiro. He pointed out and showed some videos of what Biden did during his tenure. He had a LGBTQ plus blah, blah, blah celebration where these people were flaunting all their sexual stuff going on. And that's a big, and they're criticizing, him for, Trump for doing this. It's just crazy.
Honestly, if you ever want to see maybe the perfect, one of the perfect examples of Biden of an addled man, and this isn't funny, is that celebration. There's all these people dancing like that, and he's standing there looking into the space. I mean, if you didn't think he was mentally compromised and you saw that, I mean, literally, this old white guy was standing there just staring into space like he didn't have a clue what was going on. So
Because he didn't.
No, that's true. All right, so we're moving on. We're going to skip this next because Steve wanted to add something. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the Wichita Falls has unveiled a draft rendering of the development at Psych Center named the Corridor at University Town Center, which is
that is a working name.
Right. Okay, that's cool. It's a working name and a working draft because they're telling you this is not the be all end all, but it's pretty cool. It's cool that they came out with something. I think it's important to start getting the public involved in this and letting them know what they're looking at, because number one, you start getting buy-in. Number two, you give time for people to give you input, and secondly, you start to the naysayers. I mean, somebody goes out there and goes, I don't like this. And you go, okay, what is there not to like about this? Would you rather have an old, decrepit mall that things are closing? I mean, on the border just closed. There's more and more things that close. Or would you rather have an open air facility that has all kinds of neat shops, has a stadium and all that sort of thing, that can be a true hub of Wichita Falls?
Yep. And by the way, for those who are wanting to know all the details on financials and all of that, it's all right here.
By the way, right there, go back real quick. That's a perfect example right there that whoever drew these drawings is not from Texas. They ain't a pickup to be seen in there.
That's true.
I'm serious. Right. This is probably some New York or California person or something that they're drawing what their ideal thing is. It's like anybody wants to do, you talk about Europeans, they'll tell you when they fly into DFW or something like that, one of the first things they notice is all the pickups on the road.
We talked, I'm going to go ahead and say this. You're talking about flying into DFW. These foreigners that are here, one instance, and I'll get off of it. Guy in outside of Austin's got a ranch, invited 2 couples, one from France, and I don't remember the country of the other one. Took them out to the ranch for the weekend. They went mudding. They rode horses. They had a barbecue.
Yeah.
They could not believe it.
Hey, my English wife, one of her favorite things is we go mudding in side-by-sides. She absolutely likes to go in a side-by-side. And she grew up right outside of London. She's a city girl. And here she goes. She lives on not a ranch, but she lives on some acreage in Texas. She gardens. She's got a phenomenal garden. And she likes to go off-roading and stuff like that.
Yeah, because gardens in London are this little.
That's the yard. No, a garden is your yard.
Well, I know, but I'm talking. Okay, what we would call. I'm talking about. They do gardening, but it's just what we call gardening.
They do gardening also. As well, but when you hear somebody say something in the garden in London, that doesn't mean they're growing shit out there.
Right.
It could, or in your England, that means their yard.
Right.
That's what they call generally their yard in the garden. So, but I think this is a great idea that they're putting this out, and more power to them. And this is going to be a phenomenal thing for us, not only from an economic standpoint, but just from a morale standpoint, just as Wichita Falls moving forward.
I want to say another thing about this since you brought this up. Think about what this can mean, not just for the community at large, but for our MSU family. Can you imagine, I want you to think about this for just a minute. Imagine having that stadium in walking distance of the body of MSU, having in walking distance of that stadium housing, in walking distance of that stadium having restaurants and retail, in walking distance of that entire complex, it's a game changer for our community.
Oh yeah,
and I think this should excite people and should bring a lot of people into the conversation about what could happen.
Well, and my biggest thing is look, got to think about this. This mall is effectively dead as a mall. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not because the people moved out. Yes, they moved out maybe sooner than they would have now, but this is an opportunity. This is not going. The owner was going to just simply let it go. They would have closed it. Ultimately, it was a write-off.
Terry, the Chamber of Commerce for 2 years tried to get the previous mall owners for 2 years.
Yeah,
they were the Chamber of Commerce was willing to see what it took to renovate the mall.
Right.
They tried that first.
But that wasn't.
The previous owners had no desire.
Nope.
To improve the mall space.
No,
it's one of the reasons Dillard's left.
Yeah, well, right. Well, they weren't right. They were not fixing anything. They're like, we're done. And so maybe we have a chance of bringing Dillard's back here. Maybe.
Who knows?
I don't know.
But it's just, I agree with you. And all my kids went to A&M. So you talk about a college town. Yeah. I mean, that is a college town. You go somewhere, that's one thing that's always kind of bothered me about Wichita Falls. We've got a phenomenal college here.
Yeah.
But Wichita Falls is not a college town.
No, and this could be the
I think this is a catalyst. I think this is a catalyst because you go around College Station, you go to the grocery store, you go anywhere, you see A&M hats, A&M shirts, A&M license plates, A&M bumper stickers.
Oh, yeah.
Then if you go to a game and you watch the whole crowd walk to the stadium, just like what can happen here, you are going to see a throng of people that walk from MSU to this stadium, and there's something, the camaraderie, everybody's joking around and enjoying and talking about the game and talking about this. I agree with you. This is going to be a catalyst for something big.
In addition to that, look where VRJC is.
Yeah, right there.
It's across Taft.
Yeah.
So you've got the entire VRJC Wichita Falls campus in walking distance of that entire complex.
I would love for them to have maybe VRJC to play some baseball here, because VRJC has a really good baseball team. A lot of people don't realize it, but they're in Vernon. Yeah. And so a lot of people don't kind of realize it, or if you don't follow collegiate sports, local collegiate sports, you don't realize how good their baseball team is. Yeah. But and a lot of people aren't going to drive 45 minutes to go to Vernon, but they would run over and catch a game here.
Yeah. And just look at this here, though. This is in reference to everything. That's what it could. I mean, it's not going to be that perfectly the same. No. But the shopping areas, the stadium,
a lot of green space,
and
not all concrete jungle, baby.
Yeah, and that's just it's an opportunity. And
absolutely.
Nothing will guarantee it, but if you decide how you're going to, as an individual, are you going to support it if it works? Are you willing to admit it later? You know that
there's a lot of people don't admit stuff.
But hey, but that's okay. But even if they don't, as long as they shop there.
Quite frankly, I've gotten very few I'm sorry's about all my COVID stances when people told me I was wrong, and I'm like, okay.
Yep. So all right,
I was right.
There we go.
Okay, immigration discussion. Let's talk about a few things here.
All right.
And so, kind of been thinking about this whole immigration thing, and wanted to just bring some facts, because you hear a lot of fluff. It's on the third page there. You hear a lot of fluff and you hear a lot of things, but you don't get the facts. So here are the facts. And what prompted this is I've started hearing people talking about due process for illegal aliens. Well, they don't say illegal aliens. When they talk about due process, they say undocumented immigrants or undocumented workers. They're illegal aliens. That is the technical term for them. It's not a pejorative. It is that is the term. And once again, when the left tries to co-opt the language, this is part of co-opting the language, because you might be able to go, okay, I want the illegal aliens to follow the rules, but I don't know about our undocumented guests. Do they have to follow the rules? By the way, a burglar could possibly be an undocumented guest in your home.
Yes.
So are you okay with that?
Oh, hell no.
Right. There's a reason we have locks on our doors, but it entails constitutional guarantees under the Fifth Amendment that protects all persons within the U.S. borders, not just citizens, and it ensures a right to a fair hearing in an immigration court, formal notice of charges, interpretation services, which I do not like, and the opportunity to challenge evidence. The fact of the matter is, if you come to our country and you want to come to our country, you ought to be able to speak the lingo. If I go to France, I don't expect for them to speak English to me. If I'm choosing to go to their country, it's on me to accommodate them. It's not, or to try to find somebody who can speak both languages. It's not up to them to accommodate me. But that is the law, so we'll go by this is the law. Here's where the crux of it is, and this was the big thing. And actually, this dovetails into one of your topics, the Supreme Court hearing. You don't have to. People do have a right to be heard in an immigration court. They don't have a right to stay in this country while they're waiting on that immigration hearing. So, right, let's see here. Removal, expedited removal. Individuals apprehended near the border who have been in the U.S. without authorization for less than 2 years, and in some cases 100 miles from the border or shorter, can be subject to expedited removal. This process bypasses the traditional immigration court system, resulting in swift deportation without a hearing, unless it can express the intention to apply for asylum. That means they can be deported. It doesn't mean they can never have a hearing. They can apply for a hearing. But the rule is they're supposed to stop at the closest country. So theoretically, if somebody illegally crosses the border and they're Canadian, they're Canadians, then technically they could claim asylum, which I think you would have a hard time being a Canadian and claiming asylum, but you could claim asylum at the U.S. consulate in America. If you're Mexican and you're a Mexican citizen, you can come to America and claim asylum at the U.S. consulate. Doesn't mean you get to be released in the country. You may have to go to a holding facility until your hearing is heard. But if you're from Honduras, Guatemala, any other place, Africa, all these places from all over the country, China, people that were coming across the border, You do not have the right to come into this country and stay in this country until your asylum hearing is heard. You are supposed to, the whole remain in Mexico policy that was very successful, the whole point behind that is that's what the law says, or the rules say. The problem is, and I didn't know this until I did some research, the problem is it's not a statute. It's up to the express consent of the executive branch. They have leeway. There's no way something like this, they should have leeway. Right. Congress needs to do their job, take control. It's their job. It's their job to make laws. It's the executive branch to enforce laws. What they've done is they've abdicated their responsibility to where basically the executive branch de facto is making law. Mm-hmm. And it's not supposed to happen that way.
Nope, it's not.
So Congress needs to buck up, do what they're supposed to do, and create a law and say, executive branch, Donald Trump, I don't care if you're the president, Joe Biden, I don't care if you're the president, I don't care who the president is. The law says they must remain in the country the last country they pass through, or the next country they pass through to seek asylum. And it's not up to you whether you decide you want to enforce that or not. If you don't enforce that, you're breaking the law, and we're going to sue you. Yeah. Now there was a Supreme Court case you said that kind of dovetailed into this. We can kind of talk about that one real quick, and then we can talk about the other one in a little bit.
Okay. One of the things that I've been following, there are several cases at the Supreme Court right now, but there are two. The Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that the temporary protected status that has been was given years ago, and I mean years ago, to Syrians and Haitians. It was temporary. The Supreme Court says they can't be here permanently. Right. That the Trump administration, according to the Supreme Court, has every right to revoke that and to send them back where they came, because it was a temporary grant, not a permanent status grant.
It's actually the basis of that was humanitarian.
Exactly.
There are these refugees. These places are going. Their countries are going to crap. They're having a civil war, and all that. And we're going to try to help some people out. Mm-hmm. But then people take advantage. Somalia is the same way. Mm-hmm. When the Somali people came to America, it was because their country was plunged into civil war, and Americans with the big heart we have said, "Hey, if you want to come here and seek shelter under our protection, then we'll allow you." So, yeah.
And the second one was the Supreme Court, and again, it was a 6-3 ruling, agreed with the Trump administration that when someone is seeking to come into the United States, when they get to the border, whether it's Mexico or Canada, when they get to the border, they're still at the border. They're not in the United States and eligible for. They're at the border, so we don't have to let them in.
Right.
The Trump administration does not have to let them in because they're at the border. And so that's another big win for securing our borders. And I'm thrilled that in Trump's first term in office that we got judicial appointees that are making the difference for decades.
Well, and this goes back to, and I agree, and I'm glad the Supreme Court has codified that in statute, or in ruling, but actually Congress needs to do their job and make this a law. Exactly. So that way it's not up to Trump, it's not up to Biden, it's not up to the next person, it's not up to Bush or Obama or anybody else. No. It's the law.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to give you a little breakdown on immigration has actually affected my family. So my wife is an immigrant. She came here legally. She stood in line, literally stood in line. She applied for an immigration status. She came here. She was a temporary resident. Then she was a temporary permanent resident. Go figure. That only the government can have a temporary permanent resident. Then she was a permanent resident. She was a temporary. She was a legal alien first, then a temporary, and then she became a permanent resident. Then she became a citizen. That was her path to citizenship.
And that took how long?
Took about 10 years.
Wow.
8 years. It took. Huh?
And when were y'all married during this?
No,
you weren't at that point.
We got married while she was in the process of that, but that didn't matter. Her path of citizenship started before we got married.
No, I know, but that didn't accelerate anything.
No,
right.
It didn't. No.
Okay.
So, and it cost about $10,000, roughly $10,000 for she and her 2 children to basically become American citizens.
To prove you had the money to be able.
That's the other side of it. And she could not take a nickel of government money, not a nickel. She had to prove that she had enough cash in the bank to support herself and her 2 children for 3 years above the poverty line in America. And so when you come over here legally, you sign a paper saying, I'm not eligible for government benefits, and you cannot accept government benefits. Okay? So that being said, so my wife becomes a citizen in 2008. So it took about 8 years, I guess. She becomes a citizen in 2008. At that time, she applied for her sister to come over to have a sibling visa, which that's legal. That's part of our law system. So that was 2008. Her sister was approved in 2008 because they do a quick background check on you, make sure you're not, a person of ill repute or whatever. She was approved in 2008. At the time, they said it's going to probably be 10 to 12 years before you actually have an immigration hearing.
Wow. Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, hang on. It's 2008. 3 months ago, she got her
2026?
Yes, she got her immigration hearing. No, she hasn't had the hearing, but she got the notice of the hearing.
Notice of the hearing.
The notice of the hearing.
18 years.
Yeah, the notice of the hearing. Yeah. So that's what I'm telling you. This is what happens, but I will tell you, during the last 4 years when immigration was being overrun, that slowed that process down to a halt. And I told my wife, I said, that's what's going to happen. Because you have all these people whose job is to deal with immigration, but they're all dealing with illegal immigration at the border. And you have Border Patrol that was babysitters and stuff like that. And that's what happened. It brought all of that to a screeching halt.
Gosh, what a disaster.
So here you have my sister-in-law and her husband. They own land in Clay County. They've invested probably $250,000 in buildings and equipment for a business in Clay County, and they can't get in yet. They came over on a business visa a few years ago. It was a 5-year visa, business visa. They had to come in. They had to show they were investing money into America. They did that. They had to pay their taxes. They did that. They collected taxes on the business that they sold the goods and services, and collected all their taxes, paid all their taxes, and then they applied to renew that visa a year and a half ago, and they were denied. They said they didn't make enough money when they were here last time. I'm not kidding you. Look, you all know me. I'm a spade. If my in-laws and my brother and sister-in-law were bad people or they were criminals, I'd be the first to say, hell no, they ain't coming in. I don't want them to come in. They're not. 0 criminal records in England or America, paid all their taxes the whole time they were here. And all the money, their income taxes and their state sales taxes, and were denied because they did not make enough. They did not create enough wealth or money when they were here, but they still have all this money invested.
Jeez.
So
we need to get Ronnie Jackson on that deal.
I'm telling you, I've talked to Ronnie Jackson's people, and there's really not a lot they can do. It's crazy. It's crazy, but that's how broken our immigration system is. I just want to give everybody insight. This isn't a poor medium to my family. This is a telling on how broken our immigration system is. Like you just said, 18 years to be able to get a hearing. They still haven't had a hearing.
Well,
by the way, they still haven't had a hearing yet.
Right.
They're probably a year away from even being able to get here.
And so all of this, that difficulty just adds to the reason why some people try to get here illegally, but then we have been actually feeding that, saying, oh, well, come on over, you can stay and we can. But then you got all these people who are trying to do it the formal process, and they run into 18-year waiting periods and being denied after actually doing really good things. And then we have these other people that are getting here and bypassing all.
And living on the government payroll.
Yeah, look, I don't think it should be easy to come to America and become part of our culture.
No, but 18 years
you need to
is
bring
ridiculous.
something. I agree. You shouldn't be easy, but it shouldn't be this difficult either.
Well, but
especially if you could come in and prove I'm bringing something to the culture. The problem we have, guys, is this is the first time in our history, in the last couple decades, let's say, that we've allowed immigrants to come in to live off the system. If you think about it, people go, we're a country of immigrants. Yes, we were. But guess what? They were coming in here to work.
Yeah.
They were coming in here for a better life. They were coming here to build part of America. All the Irish and all the Scottish and all the Italians and all of the Chinese and all of those people.
They were coming in for the opportunity America represents and becoming Americans. They assimilated. Mm-hmm. And that's not what's going on.
But that doesn't mean to give up your culture where you came from.
You can keep your culture.
Actually, you actually enrich our culture.
Right, and you celebrate. Right, and that's the thing. Let's celebrate those things, where you're bringing in, learn about it, but you are assimilating. You're bringing that into, that's why we're called the patchwork, right, or a quilt, or a quilt of America. I don't know, whatever that term is. But anyway, but you get the idea. Is we're bringing
the melting pot.
Well, there's that too. Yeah, but anyway, that's just the way it should be, and
But those people, like I said, they came in for a better life, but they didn't come in here and say, American taxpayer, you owe me money. And what you have to understand is, look, we all have good hearts. If we could feed the world, I mean, honestly, if I could wave a magic wand and get rid of hunger and strife and all that, I'd be happy to do it.
Right.
But the fact is, we can't. That's reality. Reality is, it's dollars. It's taxpayer dollars that we all pay. So we should have the right to make sure that we're using those taxpayer dollars for the benefit of our people first. Yeah. And then let some people come in who want to bring their talents. You don't have to have any money. Just don't live off the government and bring your talents in here and assimilate to our country.
I'm all for that.
Absolutely. So anyhow, there's two more things, but one thing that I had on here. Well, let's go ahead and finish your Supreme Court thing, and then we'll go on to the Tulsi Gabbard deal.
Yeah, I want to talk about Tulsi. Let's just go to Tulsi Gabbard. We're running out of time.
Yeah, we got time here. But okay, the release of the code. Okay, so Tulsi Gabbard has now was director of national intelligence and done a great job, and she has left the administration. Of course, you hear people that are trying to make a big deal about it. Her husband has a disease, and being part of a cabinet, and it's not just the Trump, it's any cabinet. If you notice, a lot of those cabinet members, they roll out quite a bit. It's obviously a very stressful job. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's a lot of work. There's a lot of late nights. There's a lot of leaving your family and that sort of thing. Her husband has a disease, and she wants to slow down a little bit and look after her husband, which I think is great and admirable if that's her choice. But she dropped a couple bombshells on her way out the door, and she declassified a lot of stuff. And one of it was the release of the COVID files. And
we could be here all day.
We're not going to, but you're right, we could. So the documents the COVID file documents expose a massive cover-up alleging that former U.S. top health official Anthony Fauci, okay, I'm glad everybody's sitting down, misled the public and manipulated the intelligence community.
No. It wasn't just that he misled. He manipulated.
Absolutely.
He manipulated documents and events. And that's now a digital trail.
The problem is he's got a pardon.
The solution is we have state options for prosecution.
Right, and I agree. And he should be prosecuted in every state.
To the full extent of the law.
Yeah, every state ought to go after this guy. So she dropped that bombshell. Then also the whistleblower claims she released documents including accounts from whistleblowers who are alleged intelligence analysts supporting the lab leak theory, faced professional pressure to suppress dissenting views on the lab leak theory. You know, it came from a pangolin, right? And then the last thing was the Russia hoax. Alongside the COVID documents, Tulsi Gabbard announced that she was referring the newly declassified files on the 2026 Russia hoax to federal authorities for criminal review. Yeah. I don't know that anything's going to happen on this. Things should happen. At some point, people need to be held accountable for their actions.
Well, yeah.
And to me, the COVID, of all the things of our lifetime, that is the most egregious thing. And we're still feeling the effects of it. Our children, what it did to our kids, what it did to the school-age children in this country. There are kids, you had the young kids who lacked development. First off, they were school closed, can't go to school. Then you're going to the house and you're around your parents, and if you have good parents that really care, maybe that's okay. But if you don't have parents that are educated or don't have time or don't want to take the time, maybe that's not okay. Plus, everywhere you went, especially when you're a young child trying to learn, all you're seeing is, you can't learn how to speak that way. The way part of the way that human beings learn to speak is to watch. It's mimicry. That's why the teacher stands up there and says, A-E-I-O-U. She didn't go, A-E-I-O-U. You know, she's not. You don't have a damn ventriloquist. That's what I'm saying. So you have those development problems with development. You have kids through all the ages. I'm going to tell you another group of kids that have now had a spike in mental health issues were kids that were seniors in high school during that time. They basically lost their senior year, kind of their ta-da year, their final year. They lost their sports if they're into sports. They lost their band if they're in the band. They lost their, I hate the word community. They lost their community that is so vital. They lost their graduation. And there's a lot of those kids right now. Some of them have pulled out, but there's a whole lot of them that are way developmentally behind because they haven't been able to overcome that mental hurdle of losing kind of your blossoming into adulthood.
Well, I mean, it was 2 full years of that loss for those kids because everything was shut down, not just shut down completely, but the change in teaching methods went on for 2 to 3 years. The remote learning, I mean, it was a mess. And you're exactly right. Those kids are struggling.
Yeah.
By the way, Mike and Terry and I were right. We talked about this ad nauseum.
Yes, you did.
On the radio show.
Yes, you did.
Over and over and over again. And people people said things like, you're nuts, you're dangerous, you're this, you're that. Bullshit. We were right. And by the way, I'll take apologies anytime you want. I have yet to have anybody come and apologize to me and say, you know, you were right about that whole time. You know, because the dumb motorcycle shop at the shop guy from the north end of town that doesn't know shit happened to be right. And the dumb disc jockey, you know, Mike, who was on the radio for me, spinning those records and all that, didn't know anything. And Terry's not as dumb as Mike and I were, but Terry's a tech guy. And you know, and we didn't know anything. We were dummies. We were bought into the hype. We were this, we were that. And by the way, I blame Donald Trump as well. I'm sorry. I give Donald Trump no pass. He screwed the pooch on this. So many people in the administration. Woody Gossip screwed the pooch on this. Stephen Santayana screwed the pooch on this. Piss on all you. You all were wrong about it.
And Governor
and I like some of the people. Governor Abbott, you're absolutely right. I like some of these people. I'm friends with Woody Gossip. I'm friends with Stephen Santayana. I like a lot of Trump's policies. I like a lot of Governor Abbott's policies. But they were wrong. They were wrong. They bought into the bullshit, and they were scared.
Yep.
And that's the worst way to run your government, to be a leader. You don't lead from behind. You don't lead to be scared. Yeah. And every one of them was scared. They were leading scared.
Yep, and guess what's been dropped? The whole idea of our legislature trying to put in some sort of for the future, if whatever governor happens to be there,
Yep, totally agree.
That they were. The idea was we were going to say, okay, within 60 to 90 days of something, that you have to have a meeting of
30 days.
the legislature, 30 days, whatever
30
it is,
days,
whatever
yep.
it is, and then let. Because we were not represented. We were dictated to during that period. There was no choice in the matter.
And by the way, James Frank was big on pushing that legislation.
Right. But it's gone, and it never went anywhere. And I'm sad that's the case.
David Spiller and James Frank were both big on putting out legislation. David was going to be
Right.
on with us, and James will be on with us in a couple of weeks. David will be on with us next month.
And I've asked them every time we've had them on, and they go, "Well, there's just not."
No support. The problem is people
short memories.
I'm telling you, people are so into their phones, they're so into themselves,
but
they're not into the greater good. But the fact is, you're absolutely right. What they were proposing was the governor can call an emergency.
He never did.
State of
Right.
emergency
Right.
or whatever it is.
But he has to
But after 30 days, he would by law have to call the legislature back,
Right,
or
and let
legislature in, and let them codify that or renounce it.
Right. And we were not represented during that. We were dictated to, and that is my biggest.
Unless you were somebody like a few of us that told everybody to basically piss off. I'm not
Well,
involved, and I wasn't. We didn't change our business. We didn't close a day. We didn't wear masks. We didn't make anybody wear masks. The only place I didn't go places I had to wear a mask. I was like, screw it. If I have to wear a mask to come to your place, I'll go somewhere else. And that's what I did. The only place that I regularly wore a mask, because I absolutely had to, is because my wife was going through had brain tumor surgery, and I couldn't bow my neck at UT Southwestern and tell them to kiss my hiney. So I had to wear a mask while I was there. But I'm going to tell you something. That thing went onto my face the second I walked in, and the absolute millisecond I walked out of those doors, that damn thing came off my face. And we talked about it. Mike famously said over and over, look at the box. Look at the box. What does it say? Not for medical use.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had a debate with Mike Kurt, who was superintendent of schools, on the radio. And Mike, he was throwing some stupid statistics that he pulled out of his, he didn't pull them out of his ass. He read them somewhere, and he said, well, the scientists say this and the scientists say that. How do you know? I said, because I passed 5th grade science. I know how airflow works. Jesus Christ. And it wasn't that hard. It really wasn't that hard to learn about if you chose to go out there and learn. Yeah. But what you had to do, like what I did is I went out there and I found a group of doctors who had formed a consortium that had nothing to gain. And when you have that, they're going to be as honest as they are. All these people had stuff to gain. I went out there because I was like, okay, this is a disease. It's a real thing. I have employees. I have family. I have my family. I have their families. I have my customers. I'm responsible for a lot of people. And so I made it my job to learn the reality of what this was. And I read lots of stuff. I spent hours and hours and hours researching this and deep dives, not just watching to see what Birx and Fauci said. And the most effective evidence that I came up with was, like I said, there was a group of doctors that formed a consortium. They weren't making a dime off doing this, and they were putting their reputations on the line. And when you have people who are willing to put their necks out there and their reputations and their licenses and everything, their livelihood on the line, and they're not making a penny, you ought to probably listen to them.
Yeah. Well, and the biggest driver, though, of all the hospitals and a lot of because you probably had a number of doctors even within the various hospitals that were not for this, but they had to comply because the hospital said, you're got to do it. And the reason they are doing it?
Money.
Because of funding, right? The government threw out tons of money.
It's one of the most nefarious things that ever happened to pay hospitals to say that people died of COVID.
And then what did it do? It got us $2 trillion very quickly in further debt, national debt, trillions, $2 trillion, and we're coming up on about 40 trillion almost. We're almost at 40 trillion. But before the end of the year, we'll be at 40 trillion.
Yeah.
So anyway,
you want to finish up your Supreme Court discussion?
I think I'm done. We got everything I wanted covered.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Well, we appreciate it.
Well, then, yeah. So thanks for joining us, Steve, and helping us out.
I thoroughly enjoy coming in here when you guys are short. I enjoy the conversation. I enjoy the topics, and I enjoy being in front of the community in different ways. And this is a way for me to give back after a good long 35-year career in the car business. I absolutely love giving back and sharing with you guys is one way, and I appreciate it.
Well, and I really appreciate your insights. You bring a unique perspective, and that's what we try to do. We try to want to bring in unique perspectives. That's just something that Mike and Terry and I always did. It was always fun because, even though the three of us really agree in principle on a lot of things, we still didn't. And the good thing is we would debate with each other, and there was nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It was fine. It was fun. Mike and I have been friends since we were in junior high, and we still had some debates on the radio, but nobody ever left there mad. Mm-mm. It was like, you think one way, I think the other way. I'm going to try to convince you my way. He's going to, in the end, we'll just shake hands and say, okay, that's the way it is. Terry and I have had debates on the radio and on here. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It's good to have good, healthy discussion. There was a time in this country that was important, to have good, healthy discussion and not get mad at somebody because they disagreed with you. Who cares? If you believe in your opinion, if you really care what your opinion is, why do you care what everybody else thinks? You shouldn't. You should put your opinion out there, listen to what they have to say, give them equal opportunity because maybe they have a good idea. You might change your mind. But if you're staunch in your opinion, okay. And I'll tell you this, the simplistic thing. Why is it that people are obsessed with wanting people to try something just because they like it? I don't know how many, especially people's spouses, it's like, I want you to try hummus. Well, I don't want to try hummus. Well, try hummus. I don't want to try hummus. And by the way, I don't give a shit if you don't try hummus. You do what you want to do. I don't care. That's what I'm getting at. People feel like part of their identity is wrapped up in people agreeing with me or wanting to do what I do. No, don't make that part of your identity. You're an individual. Celebrate your individuality. Listen to everybody else's. Celebrate their individuality. And if you align, if you both like hummus, great. If you don't both like hummus, then don't eat it.
All right, and if somebody says no, just be respectful.
Leave them alone. Yeah, don't bug them about it.
So, anyway.
Smell this. This is horrible. By the way, why would you ever do that? I know, I'm on a tangent here. Why would you ever go, this stinks. Oh, smell. What the hell? I don't want to, you just told me it stinks. Why don't I want to smell it?
All right. Well, who do we have coming up next week?
I don't think we have a guest next week.
So
we've got a couple. We actually have a couple I'm working on.
Okay,
but I don't want to say they're going to be here and not be here. But I have somebody who's trying to get their schedule worked out.
All right. Well, then I guess we'll wrap it up. But thanks, Steve. Thanks for you coming in every day. And make sure there's a bonus in for both of you.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you.
It'll be 20% of your current salary.
There you go.
I'm excited.
Anyway, all right.
I'll be able to get cheese on my Whopper now.
All right. So anyway, we're gonna wrap it up here. So join us next week, 7:30 live, as we always do. Hopefully, we'll have Facebook working next time. But as Mike always said, we'll see you down the road.